Hi, I'm Bex and welcome to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. What makes a good leader to our dogs? Is it about being the alpha or being the boss? In this video, I'll tell you about how to be a good leader with a few examples from a work scenario to make it a little bit easier to understand how we can apply that to our dogs. Short answer is no. We don't have to be the alpha or be the boss. Have a think about even what that implies as far as our relationship goes with our dogs. Think about the boss that's sitting in the corner office barking orders at us while we're trying to get our work done. Or think about the person that's pinning their dog to the ground just because they're not listening. How do both of those scenarios make us feel? Not so good. Now think about a scenario when you did your best work. Who were you working for and what was it about them that made them really good? Did they communicate really clearly? Did they show you what you needed to do? Did they teach you new skills? Were they nice to be around? Did they make you feel relaxed, comfortable, understand you, take the time out even to ask you how your day was or what the kids were getting up to for the weekend? Those kinds of leaders give us the flexibility to do our jobs, but also have a little bit of freedom in the day to make good choices along the way that we can think for ourselves. They're not constantly sitting over the top of us, micromanaging us to get the best out of the day. What those leaders also will do is they'll teach us structure, they'll teach us routine, they'll teach us the boundaries and the expectations. They might set us KPIs to show where we're needing to track to, what those end goals are, that we know really clearly what those guidelines are that we need to operate in, even just day-to-day basics. On the other hand, if we've got a manager who is constantly on top of us, looking at every single thing that we do, and they keep us on a really tight lead, there's not really much freedom to make decisions for ourselves and use our brains and know that we're doing a really good job. Those kinds of managers are likely to come down really hard on us when we've made a mistake too. And chances are it's because we haven't been taught what we need to do in that instance or what the better outcome would be, even just to put us on a course to give us the knowledge that we need. Often we make mistakes when we literally do not have that knowledge to go that one step further. Chances are you've probably worked with people like this. I think most of us probably have at some point in time. How does it make you feel? Do you feel like you're doing the best job that you can? Or do you feel like someone's constantly watching what you're doing and waiting for you to step out of line? That can lead to a build-up of stress and anxiety and just not even wanting to go to work some days. On the other hand, do we expect to turn up to work and get the company credit card and then go on a spending spree? Not really. Do we expect to go and have a 3-hour boozy lunch? While those kinds of things are really good, they're not really expected of us, and we can probably guarantee that we can get a consequence off the back of that. A good leader will show us those boundaries and guidelines, but they will also tell us when we have stepped out of line. If we're only firm, the dog learns to surrender, but not to trust. There is time for discipline, either through structure or correction, but we need to be fair too. Acknowledge their learning. They might not always get it right, but we're here to show them. And keep it fun. We can play with our dogs. We just need to give them balance. We don't all choose to be leaders, but if there's a gap that needs filling, if, say, our manager walks out the door, who's then going to take on that responsibility? Sometimes we have to then step into that role and do it. We might not have the knowledge or skill to do it, but there is a gap and we need to fill it. It's the same with our dogs. If they perceive a gap in the leadership, then they're going to step into it. But if we don't have the right knowledge and we have to step into a leadership role, chances are we're going to make a mistake at some point, and it might not be a good mistake. What then comes with that territory is that we feel really unsure of ourselves. We might feign confidence, but underlying that is that stress, that anxiety that we have to make those decisions and that we have to be responsible for someone else. It's quite a hard role, and most people and most dogs don't actually like those roles and don't want those roles, and they're quite happy for someone else to take on that responsibility. A good leader understands a good team as the sum of all its parts. If a member's not performing, do we fire them straight away? Or do we go back a few paces? We understand the individual, their environment, their learning style, their personality types, whether they're comfortable with what's being asked of them, and of course their level of knowledge. If we put the problem all on that individual to solve, we miss the really big opportunity to help them and turn them into the superstar that they can be. If we help them and they trust us to help them, they'll follow us to get there, and then loyalty will naturally follow. So what does this mean for a dog? If we only see the behaviour that the dog is presenting and we blame the dog, we miss the really big opportunity to help them, and that is to become the leader that they need. If we show too much love and affection, we can't expect the dog to behave just because we love them. It needs mutual respect and learning and training and guidance. If we don't provide them with good, calm, clear, consistent guidance, then they'll decide how things go and they'll become really unsure of the world around them. They may become fearful, anxious, reactive, aggressive even. You might even be experiencing all or some of this. Dogs understand that they need to follow or that they can lead. They're two states that are very simple and clear in a dog's mind. If they're not taught how to follow, then they'll try and lead. If they have someone to guide them and show them that they can just follow and they don't need to step in and take that role and make all the decisions, and make really wrong decisions, then you'll start to see many behaviours start to resolve. There are a few key themes that dogs understand to achieve the right leadership. I'll touch on these in some future videos, but my big three are being calm. This is about our state of mind and the energy we put out. Are we nervous, frustrated, angry, sad, or are we even? It's about being consistent in the words we use, the expectations we put on the dogs, in our manner. Are we up and down, or are we pretty okay? And it's about communication, being really simple, clear, easy to understand, teaching the behaviours we want.
Ranger, leave, good boy.
If you have a dog that you want to be really well behaved, it's our job to be a good leader to them. But that's a really hard job to do if we don't have the right skills and knowledge to get us there. And that's where I come in. I'll help you do that. If you'd like to get the latest content, make sure you hit subscribe below. And of course on this video too, hit the like button.